and I found it. And it came, gosh, I'm messed up now. You've messed me up. Sang all them songs about love, and I got to thinking about love, and I forgot what I was going to talk about. I just want to talk about love. Because really, the most life-changing thing you can ever find out is that God's love really is unconditional. I never want to get tired of that. His love really is unconditional. Because everything that we've been conditioned to, everything the world says, everything around us, especially religion, it's like brainwashed us into thinking that it's all conditions. If you do, I'll do. Right? Conditions. But there's no conditions. It's the unconditional love of God. If it's not reckless, it doesn't work. I get accused of being radical all the time, I told you guys, hey, if you want to see, you better be radical if you want to see radical change. If you want to see mediocre change and partial change, then just be mediocre, I guess. But I'm tired of mediocre. I want to see radical.
Yes, sir.
I need radical. You just want to be religious and sing 3 songs and a little sermon and go home and say, I went to church, I prayed the prayer. I guess you can start there. More power to you, but I'm out. I'm done past that. I've done found out too much. I know that His love really is unconditional, and it is reckless. He left 99 to go after one. Is that not reckless? That's foolish.
Yes.
Foolish. Doesn't make any sense, does it? You can't rationalize it. You can't make sense out of it. I know people that say, I just can't get in on that Jesus stuff. I can't because I just don't make sense to me. I can't reason it out. I can't rationalize it in my mind, and I'm intelligent and all that. Here's a news flash. You're never going to rationalize it out. You're never going to reason it. You're never going to understand it. You're never going to be able to write it out on paper and say, here it is. It's unexplainable. It's undeniable. It's reckless. Yeah. And if you want reckless life change, then it's got to be reckless. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. I tell you this, I've told it a million times, but I might as well tell it one more time since we're on the subject. Maybe I'll get on something else, maybe I won't. Dean told Dean's story, but I've stolen it from Dean by now, so I've told it more than him, probably. But he told about the coffee. He loves coffee and wanted coffee real bad. He's like probably addicted to coffee, but he was wanting coffee real bad. And he was somewhere shopping with his wife, and all he could find was foo-foo coffee. Some fancy place, And the coffee was like a ridiculous amount of money. I don't remember how much, but a ridiculous amount. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It wasn't no 50-cent truck stop coffee. And so he really wanted coffee, and wife shopping and all this, and so he was wanting a cup of coffee and sat and just enjoy some coffee. So he gave a ridiculous amount of money. Let's just say $8. I don't remember exactly what it was. So he gives $8 for a cup of coffee. And so he gets his coffee, and he's sitting out on the stoop there drinking his coffee, watching people go by. And he's like, the Lord said, you really wanted that coffee, didn't you? Well, yeah. So you really placed a lot of value on that coffee. You paid the money for the coffee because you wanted the coffee worse than you wanted the money. You traded the $8 for the coffee, which means you placed more value on the coffee than you did the $8. The price you paid, the payment was made, what you were purchasing was worth more to you than the payment, or you wouldn't have made the trade, right? You got me? In the same way, God made the payment. If what He was purchasing wasn't worth more than the payment, He wouldn't have made the payment.
Right.
You follow me?
Yes.
So we were the purchased possession. We were the coffee. We were the coffee. He paid the payment for the coffee. We all know what the payment was, right? His own life, Himself. He left heaven, became a man, suffered, beaten, died, bled. He did all that, went to hell, paid the payment to ransom us out. He paid the payment because what He was purchasing was worth more to Him than the payment. That's reckless. We've just defined it. So wrap your mind around that. God said, you're worth more to me than I'm worth to me, or I wouldn't have paid the payment. The payment was Himself. God. I don't have to explain to you who He is, right? I hope not. I don't even know how. I mean, He's God. God said your life lived is worth more to me than my life. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. And I've told the story a million times. I'm still trying to get it in my head and in my heart that God thinks I'm worth that much. God thinks I'm worth more than He is. I know, y'all don't agree with me, but tough. I mean, I'm not saying you don't like it or nothing, but when you start seeing your worth, when you start understanding how valuable you are, when you start understanding the payment was made and the price He paid and how much value you hold to Him, do you understand your worth? How much we're worth to Him? I'm going to tell you, if we just understood that, things would be way different. Do you know that you take care of what's worth? If you had a Ferrari in the garage, you're not going to go 100 mile an hour down a gravel road and leave it dirty all the time, are you? No, you take care of what's valuable. I'm going to tell you what a lot of us need. We just need to understand how valuable we are. When you understand how valuable you are, it becomes easy to take care of yourself. Instead of the opposite of that, is we've had so much condemnation and so much guilt and shame that we've done the opposite. We've actually self-sabotaged and punished ourselves. Condemnation's done that. I mean, so deep. It is so deep. We're in the Bible Belt. There's no more. I don't know. Maybe nobody in the world more religious than we are in the Bible Belt, the heartland. Religious. My goodness, religious. Right? If I'd said what I said here tonight in most churches about the King James Version of the Bible, I'm telling you, they would have had a heresy. They would, just like Jesus, push me off a cliff. I'm just saying, we've been so religious that it's ingrained in us. Religion is easy for our old nature. When Adam and Eve ate from the fruit in the garden, that's what we fell into. We were in love. We were created in love. We walked with God, and God is love. We knew God. Read John. We knew God. We walked with God in the garden. We experienced who He is, and He is love. I say nobody has had more of a revelation of what God was like than Adam before the fall. He knew God, knew what love was, and that's what life was, just living life in love with God. It's love. It's selfless. Love is selfless. Love is not self-seeking. It's Scripture. And so Adam knew that, but then they ate from the tree. You guys remember that? Ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and they fell from love and fell into self. Religion. That's the fallen man's nature, is to gravitate and want religion. Just what Jeff said. Tell me what the rules are so I can spend my life dedicating myself to trying to live up to these rules. It gives us something to do. It keeps us busy. It's what we want. It's what man's nature wants. Give us the rules. Tell us what the rules are. Show us where the line is, and we'll spend our whole life. We'll dedicate our whole life to doing the best that we can do. And then we'll measure each other, and we'll see who's ahead. And we'll put signs up, and you guys wear this kind of clothes, and there we'll see what. It's pretty obvious when we talk plain about it, ain't it? And the Hebrews said it, when God delivered them out of Egypt, His intention for them was to live in freedom. They were slaves. He wanted them to live free. He's bringing them out of Egypt, slavery, so He could take them into the promised land where they could live free. Blessed. Life with God, right? He blessing them. Blessing them. Blessing them. Blessing them. They complain and grumble. We're tired. We're hungry. We're hungry. Give us something to eat. Bless them. Give them manna, right? We're tired of manna. We want some meat. Bless them. Give them quail, right? Grumble and complaining. You brought us out here and didn't give us no cold water. Grumble and complaining. Grumble and complaining. Bless them. Grumble and complain. Bless them. Grumble and complain. Bless them. What's happening? They're not yet in the old covenant of law. They haven't entered into the covenant of law prior to this. So their blessing is not based on their law keeping. Their blessing is based on how good God is and His intention for them to live in freedom. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they said this. Moses, the people. Here's the nature. Here's religion. The people said this. Moses, tell God to tell us what to do. And we'll do it. In other words, give us the rules. Give us these stipulations so we can busy up our lives and clutter it all up and we can live our lives trying to meet these rules and give us something to, some kind of purpose. Keep us busy. I'm telling you, the devil's behind religion. He knows if he can keep you busy, minding all these rules and being mindful of all these rules and mindful of how my neighbor's doing, or I know it's not in me to be perfect, but if I can do better than Zeke, I can feel a little better about myself. Right? Come on, it's what religion does. It's what all this Why do you think there's so many denominations? I heard one time, 33,000 different, something like that. Crazy. 33,000 different denominations. You know how that happened? There's a group of people this big that believed in God, and then all of a sudden they said, "No, we don't agree with that. Well, well, we think it's this idea. So, well, okay, well, okay, you guys want to believe that? Fine. You go here, you put up your sign. You guys believe it? Okay, you fine. You go here, you put up your sign. Guess what? Now, okay, now we got this group. What? Now you guys don't agree with what? Okay, you." All based on our interpretation of what the rules are. I'm preaching against it. And I'm going to continue to preach against it until the walls come down and the signs fall down and we all become love again. That's why He came. Jesus came to undo what happened when man became religious. He didn't show up to give us a new and better religion. He didn't come to show up so He could live and die and put His Spirit in you so you can now be better at being religious. It's not the point at all. The point He came was so that we could get back to what we were before religion ever showed up on the scene. Sons. Sons walking in the garden with God. Do you know why they've never found the Garden of Eden? Oh boy. I'm going to mess with you now. This is just me personally. I'm not going to argue with nobody's doctrines and all this stuff. I'm saying it's no longer a place. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. The Promised Land was representative in the Old Testament as a shadow of what we were going to have in the New. The Promised Land, life with God, where He could bless us. I mean, we're God's people, in covenant with God. Live in houses you didn't build. Drink from wells you didn't dig. I mean, you're going to whoop everybody that stands against you. I'm going to bless you so much that the whole world is jealous for your God. I don't know about you. I'm not going to resist that anymore. He wants to bless me so much that my neighbor says, "I know that guy. He's not that good. He must have something else going, and I want to know what it is." Oh, what's that? You want to know what it is? Let me tell you what it is. It's the gospel. That He who knew no sin became sin, that me, who knew no righteousness, might become righteous. Huh? Jesus became sin and never performed it. Jesus became sin and never broke the rules. Jesus became sin and never performed sin. Why do we have such a problem believing that Jason became righteous and never performed righteousness? I mean, I'm not saying never now. It's a fruit in my life now because I believe that. But you got what I'm saying. I didn't get it by performing it. Now I got it. It's a free gift. Romans 5:17, those that receive the abundance of grace. Abundance of grace. Do you hear that? I know they say, oh, you preach too much grace. I don't think Paul believed in such a thing. He said those that receive the abundance of it. Abundance of it. Abundance of it. That's a lot. That's more than you can carry. That's a lot. Those that receive more than they even know how to comprehend. A lot of it. I want some more of it. I know you guys hear me. I preach the same thing every week. I just preach grace. And I got a lot of it. But I think there's some more, and I want some more of it. It said those that receive the abundance of it. And the gift of righteousness. Those that receive the abundance of grace. Anybody want to receive the abundance of grace? Here's the deal. You can't deserve it. By definition of grace, it's undeserved. You can't deserve it. The minute you deserve it, the minute you've earned it, it becomes wages. And if we want to work for what we got coming, and we want to work for wages, does anybody want in on that program? No. Yeah, we don't want that. There's only one way, grace. You don't deserve it. You can't earn it. You can't be good enough for it. Those that receive the abundance of what you don't deserve. You're going to have to quit living in this, I'm living in whatever I deserve. Well, I made my bed, I'm lying. Fooey with that. Jesus took my bed, gave me His. I'm going to the big house. Those that receive the abundance of grace. Abundance of it. He said, I've come that you might have life. Abundant life. That means I want you to have so much of it that it's running off you, boiling out of you, that anywhere your foot steps and you see a void of it, you have enough to spare. Everywhere you go, it's pouring on any place that is dry of it. Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. Let there be light. Somebody's getting it tonight, aren't they? The light's coming on. That's why I tell it over and over and over again. It's worth it. For some of y'all been here a long time, you think, he says the same thing every week. I don't care. If somebody new gets it, right. It's the gospel. It's simple. If it ain't simple, it ain't the gospel. Those that receive the abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness will reign in life. Reign in life. R-E-I-G-N. Reign. Not like we have all the time. Reign, like a king reigns. Those that receive the abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness will reign in life like a king. That sounds a lot different than this religious mess we've heard. I'm just a worm and you're no good and I'm beat down. We're just a pilgrim passing through and all this woe is me. I'm talking about reigning in life. I'm talking about being so established in how much He says I'm worth that it changes me so much that my behavior is automatically changed by what it is that I believe about myself. See, the goals change. We all still need change. We all need changed back into. That's the whole point. We're now entering the process. We're being transformed back into who we were originally created to be. Right? We're being transformed back into who we were originally created to be. His purpose and plan for man before we ate from the tree. That guy. His plan for Adam before Adam ate from the tree. That was his original mandate. That was his original purpose. Adam, I want you to live life with me, walk with me in the garden. You're just going to know me, and you're going to be my representative. You're going to use my power. I'm giving you all authority in the earth. I'm setting you up for business. Father is taking Son and saying, Son, I'm setting you up in the business, all right? I've already created it all, everything you need. I've got heaven as the prototype. Now I'm giving you all of the seed. Now, everything is going to reproduce because I put its seed inside of itself. Now I want you to live as a son. You're my representative, and you're going to take the whole earth and turn it in to heaven. A physical representation of what I have in the Spirit. That's the mandate. To live life with God in this earth, reigning as kings, changing everywhere we go into looking just like heaven. Any place there's darkness, God's to go. Any place there's evil, any place there's sickness, any place there's anything that has the fragrance of hell. I don't care what it is. If the devil come up with it, it's got to go. We're not putting up with it. We're not saying, well, we're king of this area, but we really don't have any say-so. What? We've got all the say-so. God Himself and all of heaven is backing us up and cheering us on. And they're sitting up there scratching their heads going, how did they get so religious? They have not even come close to finding out who they really are and what they really have. That's sad. We're 2,000 years, some, down the road from the cross, and we're still in the same shape. We're still a bunch of Pharisees and Sadducees and still debating about the rules. He said it. The bottom line is love. I mean, you want to squawk about the Ten Commandments and, oh, you said there's no rules. Look, here's the rules. Don't kill anybody. Don't sleep with your neighbor's wife and want her and all this stuff. Well, if I love my neighbor, am I going to kill him? If I love my neighbor, am I going to steal his wife? Duh! You see how? Focusing on the rules keeps you self-focused. Right. And in self-focusedness, you will do the opposite of what you're told because you'll live in flesh. You'll live in fallen nature. The rules are designed for fallen man. And if you're going to hang on to the rules, you're going to hang on to the identity of the fallen man. You let go of the rules and become love, then automatically, without even thinking, you're just God consciousness. And you figure out what love is. And now in love, I've kept all the rules and didn't even know it. I kept the rules by accident more than I ever did when I was trying to keep them.
That is the truth.
They say, oh, you can't tell people that. You can't. What? Why not? It's not working. We've had thousands and thousands of years of rule keeping. I don't watch the news anymore, but surely somebody in here has. Tell me, is it working? Maybe the light would come on and somebody would say, maybe we should try something different. Maybe we should just understand and believe the gospel and that we've been changed and we're no longer those rule-keeping, failure, fallen man. We're now sons of God who understand what love really is. I don't have to keep rules anymore because I love you. And what love really is now you're worth more to me than I'm worth more to me. I defined that at the beginning. This is what love is. You mean more to me than I mean to me. That's what God's saying. God's saying, you mean more to me than I mean to me. And if He's saying that about me and that's what's in me now, I become that. And when I become that now, you mean more to me than I mean to me. Well, if you mean more to me than I mean to me, don't you become important? Don't I give up everything for you? Do you think now that I'm stealing your wife and all this stuff that we've gotten into? Well, right? It's love. The bottom line is love. preaching to the choir. I don't know what's going on here, but you can't hear too much. I don't get tired of telling it. Every time I tell it, it gets in me further. I'm becoming love. The more I say it, the more I understand it. It gets in me. It's in my fiber. It's my DNA. It's who we are. It's who we're becoming. He said, what's the greatest commandment, right? Teacher, tell us what the greatest commandment. He said, okay, you're asking me this under the law. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and whole mind, strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Right? Well, they say, see, there you go. Okay, you don't necessarily need the 10 Commandments, but you've got this one, right? All he did was condense the law down to 2. It's still the law. It's still the old covenant. You love God, and you love your neighbor as yourself. You love your neighbor as yourself, right? Well, we've done that.
Yes.
We've done a poor job of loving our neighbor, but it's because we've done a poor job of loving ourselves. So then later on, right before he goes to the cross, Jesus says this, a new commandment I give to you. A new commandment I give to you. He said, I want you to love your neighbor now as I've loved you. See the difference? Before it was you love. Now it's I want you to love as I've loved you. So now he's saying, look, you're going to love according to the revelation that you have of my love for you. Let me say this simple as I possibly can. Whatever you believe about His love for you is the way you're loving. If there's a problem with the way we're loving, we don't need to do something different. We need to believe something different. Because whatever you're believing about the way He loves, you don't have any love to begin with. You got me? You have none to begin with. You're born selfish. The opposite of love is self. You're born selfish. You don't have to learn it. You see that little one over there? Ain't he cute? Today's his 1-year-old birthday today, right there. Look at him. Ain't he something? Now everybody said, man, that's the cutest little thing ever. Now you watch him. He's got an older brother right there. They did not teach him this. You reach over and you take his passy or his blanket or whatever, and he'll say, mine! Huh? They didn't have to teach him that, did they? No. Natural. It's in man. We're born that way. We're born selfish. Mine. My way's right. I'm right, you're wrong. Oh, we grow up, but we just change it into bigger things. That's why Jesus said, you got to be born again. You're born selfish the first time. You're born wrong the first time. The second time you're born loved. You're born right. I'm just saying, bottom line's love. We just need to understand how it is that He's loving us. He's not loving us based on our rule keeping. His love for us is, He's saying, your life lived is worth more to me than my life lived. I will lay down my life to pay the payment for you. We need a big revelation of that, don't we? Anybody in here love? He loves us, don't He? He says we're valuable. He says we're worth it. I know it's mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense that God, the God that created everything, the God that's the most famous being there is, that everybody has heard of, everybody. There's nobody been more famous than Him. There's nobody more powerful. There's nobody more, you name it. He's the most. That guy